Might cannabis be an effective treatment, or at least supplement or adjunct to the treatment of COVID-19 and other kinds of diseases, and in the defense against other kinds of microbes? Or if you're going to use my language, again, this is Dr. Zeus, also known as Citizen Zeus in my citizen capacity as an investigative journalist and researcher. Can it actually help our bodies do its job better? That's the question we're going to engage in this short video. I only have a few slides on this, but cannabis in particular, the non-narcotic, that is non-THC form of it, called CBD, okay, cannabinoid, right, is showing promise. And we're going to see why when it comes to treating COVID-19, but also promise for other kinds of inflammatory-oriented types of challenges that our bodies are dealing with. Let me go ahead and put myself here in the corner and bring up this first one. Lab manager refers to a study. This, I delayed getting this out. I had these studies pretty early on. I haven't gotten the latest on them, but it takes a while to work through these clinical studies anyway. But here's the deal in terms of this. It says, quote, here it is right here. The global qualifying conditions for medical cannabis, though not uniform, all include individuals with compromised immune systems and other chronic health conditions. Therefore, this is a population that we cannot forget about in our joint effort to flatten the curve. Remember the curve in terms of flattening the curve? This is what the curve looks like. Now, I've talked about flattening the curve on a lot of levels. You can flatten the curve in your own body. If you look at your own body when it comes to especially COVID-19, because it has a huge inflammatory response, the cannabinoids help to mitigate that inflammatory response and keep that under, if you will, the curve of overwhelming your body. Now, when it comes to our society, it's a similar thing, right? And then also, you can also raise the line, as it were, okay? That's the positive thing you do to increase the capacity of your body. And this first thing is flattening the curve, is the negative thing you do to limit the challenges or overwhelm to your body. So just think of that as raising the line means increasing the positive capacity of your body. Flattening the curve means lowering the challenges or the overwhelm to your body. Now that also works when it comes to our overall society. When you're flattening the curve, you're using protective measures like masks and other kind of things so that when people do get infected, it doesn't happen all at once. That overwhelms the whole hospital capacity. Then again, staying at home, sleeping, exercising, eating healthy food, okay, taking the right vitamin supplements, using best practices, hand washing, all that, end up going ahead and increasing the capacity of your body to handle it, okay? So again, we want to go ahead and do the kinds of things, the kind of practices that both enhance our system, these other kinds, and also the practices that prevent the spread on the social level, okay? And you could even see it from the political perspective, if you like, putting divisive, inflammatory rhetoric, talking about violent overthrow and so forth, is creating this sense of overwhelm and inflammation that is very much can be used with this curve analogy as well, okay? By taking it down, and not with fake civility, okay? We're not here to just take pain relief and anti-inflammatory pills without dealing with the underlying condition. Civility is oftentimes like an aspirin. It can make you feel less, but it doesn't deal with the underlying condition. We need to learn to have a cooperative, collaborative relationship with our bodies, okay? With our medical system and our vaccine systems and so forth, where we're learning from each other, and with each other on the political level. So this is an invitation. This analogy of flattening the curve and raising the line is an analogy that can be used broadly. Then it just becomes more of a technical enterprise. What is it that's going to help us prevent or limit overwhelm or that sort of negational challenge that's going to be too much? And what's going to enhance our own body's ability to go forward? Well, it looks like CBD, but does both. as we're going to go see in this first article here, okay? How does CBD raise the line, and that is our body's actual capacity, okay, to deal with these sort of insults or challenges from microbes that are trying to reach equilibrium with us and challenge and educate us, not just trying to attack us. That's the old military mentality, okay? And how does it help us attenuate the negative responses of our body, but also increase the strength of our body, raise the line and lower the curve? Let's look at it, okay? Basically here, and they're going to go very specifically, they found that extracts have an effect on the expression of the ACE2 proteins in human cells that research has shown to be an entry point for the virus. So that's an example of lowering the curve, right? This COVID-19 virus and some others as well, other coronaviruses, attach to something called the ACE2 receptor. And oftentimes there are many more of those in people who have underlying health conditions, obesity, diabetes, and also who are aging, okay? Because they have more dead and damaged cells. But if this nicotine, this cannabinoid attaches to that receptor and displaces those viruses, it's lowering the overwhelm because not as many viruses can attach and start to overtake the body. But here's another nice thing about CBD. It can also enhance the body's response as well. It does that by creating a nerve and blood effect that's more relaxing. It's more parasympathetic, okay? It is an anti-inflammatory. We eat inflammatory foods. We're leading hyperactive inflammatory lives. That's one of the blessings of staying at home. It's really forced us to sleep more, to relax more, to do the kinds of things, not to shop as much, to do the kind of things that don't overcharge our sympathetic, that is crank up nerve response, but is allowing us to have balance between the crank up and the calm down. CBD also helps that by helping to balance on the calm down side of things, okay? Remember, it's not the narcotic aspect. Some people say, well, THC really makes me feel good. I'm not talking about THC, which is the narcotic, the part that gets you high. I'm talking about an actual biochemical, anti-inflammatory thing that does not have a narcotic effect, and it's not a controlled substance. So we don't have to worry about this. If you're in a state that doesn't have legalized marijuana now, you don't have to worry about this. As far as I know, CBD is not a controlled substance because it does not have the psychoactive element of THC in it. So you should be able to order it online, get it wherever you're going. Another article that supports this, okay? Cannabis for COVID-19. Canadian researchers claiming CBD can modulate ACE2 expression in gateway tissues and help prevent COVID-19. We talked a little bit about that the other time. But what I like, and I'm seeing it right here, is that it's competing to a certain degree with some of these other ones, okay? Like remdesivir, chloroquine, and a host of other antivirals, okay? Most of the time they have very little or no efficacy, real efficacy shown against COVID-19. And here's the problem with these kind of drugs, okay? Most of them are directed from a mentality and chemically toward the actual disabling of the virus itself. Occasionally, some of them will modulate, like dexamethasone, a steroid, modulate the inflammatory response, which is the symptom, side effects, right? The side effects of something. But because people are entrained in a competitive and warlike mentality, rather than a cooperative and collaborative mentality meant for the body to build itself up, to reduce overwhelm and create a collaborative, equilibrium-oriented relationship with bugs instead of an enemy-oriented relationship with them, they aren't as effective. They tend to be very specialized. They tend to target something. And then we either see a consequence once we target that we didn't know. Sometimes the consequence is even worse. The cure is even worse than the disease. Or sometimes it's simply just ineffective because that one little thing didn't take care of these other important aspects that were around this one little thing. But taking a comprehensive approach and which different things are brought in, and we've talked about that in previous videos, vitamin D3, vitamin B3 with niacinamide. Now we have CBD, I've also talked about nasal breathing, which brings nitric oxide in, which also helps. All these begin to raise the line for your body, increase the strength in your body by supplying with the things that allow it to more effectively deal with whatever challenge it has. And then these other things, masks, social distancing, and even things like sleep and relaxation all end up lowering the curve so that you're not getting so amped up and so inflamed. And CBD does both, as we just mentioned. So anyway, they talked about Dr. Igor Kovalchuk, professor of biological sciences at the University of Lethbridge, who is one of the study researchers, told Thailand Medical News the results on COVID-19 came from our studies on arthritis, Crohn's disease, cancer, and others. All these diseases, you notice, are inflammatory diseases. Inflammation is implicated in almost every single disease. Your body gets cranked up. It starts to fight whatever it is, and it just can't calm down or create equilibrium to establish that. And then that chronic inflammation and chronic war, as it were, ends up creating a system of disjuncture and imbalance and dis-ease in your body. And over a period of time, if it's chronic, your body begins to wear down and give up because it's, it's fighting a losing battle, or it's fighting a battle it can't win. It's not a battle, okay? Sometimes it is. I mean, if you have an acute situation where you have an actual injury and you are just using your will to live, if you got accidentally shot or something like that, or if you have an acute disease, sometimes it is a battle. So I don't want to minimize that. But the vast majority of these cases are a challenge that requires a cooperative and collaborative approach, a comprehensive approach, rather than a silver bullet or the golden pill. So in search of a preventative strain, there are certain strains here that seem to be more effective. The cannabis sativa extracts seem to be more effective than some of the others. Here's another peer-reviewed publication referring to that. I won't go on and on about this because I just wanted to bring this point up briefly. And then finally, we go back to the flatten the curve. Where can you, I guess you could say, get these sorts of things? I can at least, again, I'm not recommending this or diagnosing what you have. So this is not medical advice. I'm just sharing with you what I have done. This is a patch for all. They have something called the Omega Ultimate Pack that has krill oil. Again, that's omega-3, okay? Oops, sorry there. Omega-3, 1,500 grams. Again, that creates an anti-inflammatory effect and it balances the omega-6s, again, helping your body create that. They have CBD in here, which we've discussed, turmeric, which is a really powerful antioxidant, and vitamin D3, which again is absolutely critical. And we found that it may have allowed for almost half the deaths to be prevented from COVID-19 because it helps to buffer the blood response. That's essential for that. And because we sit indoors all day and we expose to blue light from our computers and the electronic pollution and very, very active lives that just drain this vitamin D out of us, we really need to concentrate on getting adequate vitamin D3. So again, not a recommendation per se, just information about it, about one product that's out there, one that I find to be of personal success. Again, it's something that you may choose to do or may choose not to do. But no matter what you choose, if you find this information to be helpful, I would ask you to go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell next to it. That will help bring up my new videos right into your feed. And if you want to, there's a little place to donate as well to help fund further research along these lines. I really appreciate that as well. Until next time, this is Citizen Zeus signing off. Thanks for watching.